Today, I'm going to show you how you can massively improve your focus and your concentration by meditating. I'm going to lead you through various traditional forms of meditation, including Samatha, Tratika, and Dhyana. And by the end of this, you will know precisely how you can hugely improve your focus and your concentration. Now, before I get into the actual meditation, there's just one thing that I would like to explain, and that is the nature of concentration. So for this session, for this meditation that we're going to do today, I want you to think about concentration in terms of balance. Now I'll explain what I mean. So let's say that I want to concentrate on my finger. This is the thing that I'm focusing on. Obviously, you're normally focusing on something like work or something like that, but for now, I'm focusing on my finger. Now, because of the nature of the mind, while I'm focusing on my finger, I have all sorts of thoughts and feelings and things floating around that are trying to knock me off course. So I'm trying to keep my mind balanced on this one thing while all these other distractions are batting me around. And of course, not only is it thoughts and feelings, but it's also distractions from the outside world. So when we're talking about concentration and focus, we really mean keeping our mind balanced on the one thing that we are meditating on. And that's going to become really important as we now get into our actual meditation session. So, to begin with, let us sit comfortably with good posture. Of course, we know that our posture affects our state of mind. So by sitting properly, feet nicely planted on the ground, shoulder width apart, spine straight but relaxed. Just by sitting properly like that, we can begin to improve our focus. And I'm just going to use Jayan Mudra for this, as so, with the tips of my index fingers just lightly resting against the tips of my thumb, and my other fingers simply relaxing outwards. This is the most traditional form of meditation and is, the most traditional form of mudra and is often the best one to use. So we'll continue with this. Again, tip of index finger on tip of thumb, other fingers simply relaxed, reaching outwards, palms facing upwards, hands placed on our thighs. And we should just close our eyes and begin to breathe. Now, for the beginning of our meditation session, we are going to work on Samatha meditation. Samatha meditation is a form of meditation from Buddhism and is entirely about developing our concentration. Now, to do this, all I would like you to do is to just place your conscious awareness, in other words, to focus on the sensation of your breath moving through the space just beneath the middle of your nose. Now, if you meditate with me often, you'll note that I often have us expand our awareness until we're aware of the breath through the entire body. We're not going to do that today. Instead, we are going to keep our awareness focused on that very same spot, that very precise spot, just beneath the middle of the nose. And all you're doing, you're lightly placing your awareness on that space. And so we're just focusing on the breath moving through that space. Now, at times, you are going to notice that your mind moves, your conscious awareness seems to move around. That is completely normal and completely natural. Again, that is why I said that this meditation is all about balance. It's about keeping your mind balanced on that point just beneath the middle of your nose. Keeping your mind there. And should your mind sort of get knocked off course, or should you lose focus, just gently, very gently and calmly return your focus to that same spot. And so again, we are simply breathing and observing the breath moving through that space just beneath the middle of the nose. We are noticing when we lose our focus, and we are calmly accepting that, acknowledging that inevitably there will be times when we do lose our focus, and that is completely normal and completely natural. And when that happens, we simply return our focus to our breath as it moves through our nose. And this is samatha, or at least one form of samatha meditation, a traditional meditation from Buddhism. Now, if you would like to continue to practice on your own, simply go ahead and pause this so that you can continue meditating on your own. When you are ready to continue, then simply press the play button and we shall carry on together. And so that was samatha. Now I'm going to move into another form of meditation that is extraordinarily helpful for our focus and for our concentration, and that is tratika, or still gazing. Now, for this, you're going to need to choose any item on which to focus. I'm actually going to turn just a little to the side, and I might actually have to move some things around here. I did not plan for this. So, I'm just going to move this beautiful Sphinx cat. So all I'm going to do for this tratika meditation practice is I'm going to keep my eyes focused on one object, and not only on one object, but on one very specific part of that object. And so again, it is about balance. We're balancing our focus, and in this case, in the case of tratika meditation, we are balancing our gaze on one specific object, one specific, not even a whole object, but a specific part of an object, such that we are holding our gaze perfectly still. Now, there's some very fascinating science about this, and I hope you're practicing at home, keeping your eyes focused on one spot as I explain what's happening here. So there is some very fascinating science about tratika. Now, science shows that our eyes have involuntary little movements called microcascades. Now, those tiny little movements correspond to neurological activity. And that's why if we have a lot of erratic neurological activity in the mind, our eyes will continually gaze in different directions. Our eyes will continually move. When we hold our gaze still, we stop the eyes from moving, and that in turn reduces neurological activity, which thereby improves our focus and our concentration. And so that is Tratika. Now you might have noticed there's a lot of similarities between Samatha and Tratika. With Samatha we have the eyes closed and we are balancing our awareness on the spot just beneath the middle of the nose. And in Tratika we have our eyes open, and of course our gaze, our focus is linked to our gaze, and we are balancing our gaze on one very specific thing. And so it's about balance. And whenever we lose that balance, we just calmly, very gently return our balance to, or our focus to, whatever we are meditating on. And now I promised you that I would mention a few different meditation techniques in this. And the other meditation techniques that I would like to mention are dhyana and samyana from yoga, from yogic meditation. Now, dhyana simply means to achieve oneness with the object on which we are meditating. So if you're doing samatha with your eyes closed and you're just focusing your mind on your breath, or if you're doing tratika and you have your eyes open and you're meditating on one fixed spot, at times you'll notice that it is almost like you lose your mind and you become one with the object on which you're meditating. You will know when you look back on your meditation whether this has happened. You won't be aware of it happening in the moment because you will not be aware of yourself. You will only be aware of the object on which you are meditating. And so we have looked at some of the best types of meditation for focus and for concentration. If you would like to develop your focus and concentration, I highly recommend that you practice samatha and tratika for 10 to 15 minutes per day. You will notice a big difference. And when you practice those things, because you are developing your focus and concentration, you will then experience moments of dhyana and samyana, that is, moments in which you achieve complete oneness with the object on which you are meditating. I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, use the meditations in this session to really boost your focus and your concentration, and I will see you next time.